Some believe Surah 17 verse 64 of the Quran points to the modern world embodied by secularism. After all, the modern world emerged after the collapse of an Islamic caliphate. How is this argument explained? The interpretation of Surah 17 verse 64 from the Quran as a reference to the modern world, particularly secularism, is one of many perspectives on this verse. Here's the general context and some insight into this interpretation. Surah 17 verse 64. Allah speaks to Satan, and incite, to senselessness, whoever you can among them with your voice and assault them with your horses and foot soldiers and become a partner in their wealth and their children and promise them. But Satan does not promise them except delusion. 1. Voice and modern communication. The voice of Satan can be interpreted by some as the various means of communication in the modern world, including mass media, music, movies, and social media platforms. The idea is that these platforms can potentially lead people astray by promoting secular, hedonistic, or irreligious values. 2. Collapse of the Caliphate. The Ottoman Caliphate's disintegration in the early 20th century and the subsequent rise of nation-states in the Muslim world coincided with the Western world's increased secularism. Some interpret the collapse of this last major Islamic political entity as a sign that Muslim-majority regions were becoming more influenced by secular ideologies and values. 3. Secularism. Some see secularism as a way in which people are being turned away from religious beliefs and practices. From this perspective, the modern world, with its focus on materialism, personal freedom without religious boundaries, and rejection of traditional religious values, can be seen as a manifestation of Satan's promise to lead people astray. 4. Promise of delusion. The end of the verse emphasizes that Satan's promises are but delusion. Those interpreting the verse in this way see many promises of the modern world, wealth, happiness through material gain, liberation from traditional norms, as empty or unfulfilling in the spiritual sense. It's essential to note that the Quran has been interpreted in various ways over the centuries, and not all Muslims or scholars would agree with the above interpretation. The Quranic verses often contain layers of meaning, and their understanding can be influenced by historical, social, and personal contexts.